Well, welcome everyone. Nice to be back with you today. I have my nephew Alex with us today to help us with our lesson. But it's exciting to be here with you. Question for you guys. Have you ever had a bad day?
Yes.
Yes.
Ton.
Yes. What does it feel like having a bad day?
Oh, it is horrible.
Yeah.
It makes you want to just kind of crawl in a hole and not do much, eh?
Makes you want to smash something.
Smash it. Well, we're going to talk about having a bad day and how to work through that. And we're going to look at some other cool stuff. Because, you know, not everything goes the way you want at times. Charlotte's going to play us a song, and then we'll get right back to you there. Guys. Well, thank you, Charlotte. I appreciate your musical talent. So, we are going to talk about kind of how to navigate life a little bit when things don't go well. Because you guys said when life is hard or things don't go well,
you want to break something.
You break something, you want to hide in a hole or run away. Because sometimes our plans don't go to plan, right? But you know what? No matter how good or how bad things get, do you think God's always with us?
Yeah.
He always with us.
He runs to us.
I know. And basically, we just kind of need to make sure that we turn ourselves to Him, right? I'm going to read you a cool Bible story from Luke chapter 5. I really like this one, okay? Jesus is hanging out, and wherever He went, there were some really big crowds with Him. So let's read a little bit about this. This is Luke chapter 5. One day Jesus was preaching on the shore of the Sea of Galilee. Great crowds pressed in on him to listen to the word of God. So imagine a big crowd and everybody's pushing and making it hard. Okay, so this is the situation that Jesus is in. So he noticed 2 empty boats at the water's edge, for the fishermen had left them there and they were washing their nets. Washing their nets means they were finishing fishing, getting ready to pack up for the day. So Jesus is walking, big crowds, and he sees some boats. He says, well, let's take control of this thing here. Let's go for a boat ride. So he noticed 2 empty boats at the water's edge, for the fishermen had left them there, and they were washing their nets. Stepping into one of the boats, Jesus asked Simon, its owner, to push it out into the water. So he sat in the boat, and he taught the crowds from there. Okay, so you know, have you guys ever been in the lake sometime?
Yeah.
And if you hear someone talking on a boat from really far away, you can hear them just like next door. Just like a natural amphitheater. This is what Jesus does. Okay, this is really neat. I love how Jesus, he taught from the whole crowd from there. But what we're talking about today is what happened when he was done. So the fishermen had finished their fishing day, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
They had been fishing. They cleaned their nets. They probably want to go home and have a nap, okay? But this is what happens, okay? When he had finished speaking, he said to Simon, now go out where it's deeper and let down your nets, and you will catch many fish. Okay? Master, Simon replied, we worked hard all last night and didn't catch a thing. So imagine imagine you had worked all last night. Come on this way, guys. How come you're not in the screen? They had worked all last night. Can you imagine working all night, going fishing?
And nothing.
And nothing. And then some guy with a big crowd says, hey, let's go fishing again in the daytime. Okay? And we'll tell you why fishing in the daytime doesn't work when we get to our experiment. Okay? Anyway, but this is Peter's response, okay? He says, we had worked all night and didn't catch a thing, but if you say so, we'll try again. At this and this time, so they basically went out, chucked their nets into the deep water, and it says, and this time their nets were so full that they began to tear. A shout for help brought their partners in the other boat, and soon both boats were filled with fish on the verge of sinking. That's a lot of fish. That'd be like a fortune for them, okay? When Simon Peter realized what had happened, he fell on his knees before Jesus and said, "Oh Lord, please leave me. I am too much of a sinner to be around you." For he was awestruck by the size of their catch, as were the others. His partners James and John, the son of Zebedee, were also amazed. Jesus replied to Simon, "Don't be afraid. From now on, you'll be fishing for people." And as soon as they landed, they left everything and followed Jesus. This is a cool story because things didn't go as planned. They were fishing all night, didn't catch nothing. They show up with Jesus. Jesus says, what? Let's go fishing again.
And then they catch a whole bunch of fish that their nets almost rip.
I know, and they had to get help to get their boats in.
And then the boats almost sink.
Oh, it's almost sink. You know, amazing things happen with God around, right?
Yeah.
With Jesus. And we need to make sure that we have Jesus in our life. Whether you're having a good day or a bad day. Because I would say those guys fishing all night because they fished for a living. So they fished all night, didn't catch nothing. So I wonder if that meant they were going to be hungry that day. So that'd be pretty bummed out, right? But then they hang out with Jesus and everything changes, right?
They'd be hangry.
They would be angry when they didn't get to eat. And so I like that story for that reason. And Simon, the Simon Peter guy, he really realizes that Jesus is so much more than just a regular person.
Yeah.
Okay, and he falls on his knees and he says, I am a sinner and I need your help. Okay, so when we fall on our knees and cry to God, do you think he listens?
Yes.
Yes, and he answered. And Jesus says, I'm going to make you a fisher of men now. And we know that Peter, Simon Peter, so he went by his new name after that is Peter, call him Peter. He went on and he did so much amazing stuff for serving God. It's really cool.
Wait, Simon's new name was Peter?
Well, he had like two names, Simon Peter. Be like you maybe going by your middle name. Anyway, okay, we're going to do a little experiment about fish. Okay, you guys like fish?
Yeah.
I like fish.
Different.
We'll show you guys a video in just a second of some of my fish. I counted today. I have about 40 fish in 2 fish tanks in my office. Guys, do you guys know why they fished at nighttime?
Yeah.
Because the lights cold.
Water's cold. It's really, really hot over there.
Yeah.
Okay? And we like to jump in the water to cool down, don't we? That's really refreshing. But if you lived in the water and it got really, really hot, what would you do?
You get out.
Well, no, if you lived in the water like a fish, you can't get out.
Oh, stops with like be stiller.
Well, does water get warmer or colder the deeper you go?
Oh,
Colder the deeper you
Yeah.
go.
So during the daytime when it's hot, the fish don't like the hot water, so they go right down to the bottom. Okay. Now, can you catch a fish down the bottom with a fish net?
No.
No, you're not unless you got a really long arm. Right? So that's why people fish at nighttime, because the fish come up when the water cools down and they don't want to hang out in the cold too long. So they come up, they warm up, and they're easier to catch. Right?
Yeah.
Fish have what they call swim bladders.
Swim bladder?
Have you ever been in the water and held your breath
Yeah.
and then blown it out and you sink a little bit?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool. So I love scuba diving as well. So I like fish. I got one of my things here. Okay, this is called a scuba diving buoyancy compensator. Okay,
And it has a whistle.
has a whistle, has a big bladder in it. So if I'm underwater and I have some weight on me to make me sink, if I add more air to it, see how it blows up?
Oh yeah, these things blow up. And it makes you float.
Makes you float, right? And then if I take the air out, like this, makes me sink. When I have a scuba tank on me, I have a little button. I push the button, it does it for me. Okay. This is a little bit like what fish do. They have a swim bladder in them, and they squeeze it, and it makes them sink, and then they let the air out, and so it makes them float. So we're going to do a little experiment to demonstrate that for you, because fish don't have scuba diving buoyancy compensators like we do. So let's go down here to our experiment, guys. Okay, why don't you guys kneel around me a little bit. Okay, thanks, Malcolm. Okay, so this is our experiment here today. So I've got 2 bottles here. Now, this is going to represent our fish, okay?
Okay.
Let's see if this is ketchup. I'm going to put it in our jar. Let's see what happens. Okay. That guy's not a very good floater, okay? That fish might be stuck on the bottom, okay? Let's see about this one. This is my soy sauce.
There's fishy.
Oh,
It floats.
that one floats.
Because there's air in it.
There's air in it, right? We got another one, and that one floats, okay? So you guys see, we've got 2 that float, one that sinks. Now, let's see what happens when we put these in here. So remember how I said fish have like a fish bladder? Okay. Okay, now, and they squeeze the fish bladder with their muscles, and it makes them go down under the water a little bit, okay? So if we put our fish in here, okay, and then we give it a squeeze, what do you think is going to happen?
They're gonna sink.
Whoa!
You see that? One sunk, but one didn't. When we let the pressure out, it comes up. So what it does is when we squeeze it, because it's sealed, it compresses the air inside the package, making the swim bladder smaller, and then it makes it sink. Yeah. Let's give it a good squeeze, guys, to make it go to the bottom. There's one's down. I don't think they... See, one of them has quite a big swim bladder, so it's a little bit hard. See, we got one right down the bottom there. Then we let go again. We'll come back. Oh, it's stuck underneath the other one. There it comes back up. Okay, you want to try, Alex? See if you can squeeze it, make it go down. Oh, squeeze hard. It's going. Don't give up. Give it a squeeze and just hold it for a second.
Can I try?
Hands aren't quite big enough. Go ahead, buddy. Squeeze it. Oh, you got it. You got it.
My turn.
So that's cool, isn't it? So did you guys think that would happen
No.
when you squeeze it? So that's like what fish do. They have a little air pocket in them, and they have muscles around the air pocket. And when they squeeze it, it helps it go up or down. Now, I'm going to tell you a cool story. Sometimes people think things in the Bible are not true because they haven't necessarily seen it, right?
Yeah.
So, in the story of Jonah and the whale, okay, or Jonah and the fish, okay, what does the Bible say swallowed Jonah?
The wheel.
Was it a whale or was it a fish?
Whale.
Oh, the Bible says a fish swallowed it.
What?
So some people say that the story of Jonah is not true because there's no way a fish could swallow Jonah. Well, I read a story in 1977. Some guys found this fish, and the fish had a mouth on it that was like 6 feet wide. It was a fish, a very rare fish. They've never seen it before. Okay? And they found it on the surface, and the reason that they found it on the surface was because its swim bladder had ruptured and it couldn't go underwater anymore. He wasn't able to squish it and make it sink. So he could only swim on the surface, and they were able to catch this fish. After an examination of this fish, they found out that it was a juvenile. You know what juvenile means?
Oh, I've heard of that.
That means it's a young fish. So imagine if there's a young fish big enough to swallow a human. Imagine what an adult fish would do.
Whoa.
It could really swallow. We have no idea. We know more about the moon than we do about the bottom of our ocean. So we don't know what's hiding down there.
Yeah.
Okay. It's amazing things. So
It's dangerous to go down deep
because the water pushes the pressure.
yeah. So just so you know, sometimes when people say, well, Jonah couldn't have existed because there's no such thing as a fish that big, I believe we don't know everything about everything yet. So the Bible says what it does. That's how I go for it. Because I think God is so amazing that he makes fish with little air pockets in them, and they can sing and swim, sing and sink, swim and sink, do all sorts of cool things. And I love it that we get to be a part of God's creation. We get to serve him.
Jesus
and
must have so
fish
much
are fun to play with and
making
catch.
them.
Yes. So, thanks guys. Glad to be here with you today. Thanks for joining us today, Alex. And we will see you next week. Have a great day.
Bye.
Bye.